Good afternoon and welcome to BJC Halacha A number 2142, part 2, using the Yetzer Hara, chapter 118, and once again dedicated in love and memory of Daniel Basfi and Hashem Shavaliah. Here we go. We talked about how we should use the chazeres for the maror, which is romaine lettuce. And even though it's not as sharp as horseradish, the chazeres is nevertheless referred to as a bitter herb. Why is that? Since when it remains in the ground, the stalk becomes bitter. He says in the footnote, thus, although lettuce does not have a bitter taste, it qualifies as maror, bitter herbs. One may also fulfill the maror obligation with la'ana, which is commonly called wormwood. Okay, for those who do that, I have never seen that, but you never know. Let's see what he says. This is the species referred to in the Mishnah as maror. In the opinion of the Ber Halacha, however, wormwood cannot be this species, and it may not be used to fulfill the maror obligation. Okay. Stick with the romaine lettuce. Ulshin and charchavina are not commonly found in our countries. The fourth in the list of the Mishnah, this is sometimes identified as endives, or more specifically, escarole, I'm not sure. Also, this species, the third in the Mishnah's list, is not identified by the later authorities. So basically, we don't know, and just to be on the safe side, use romaine lettuce. And then he says, the kitchen was written in Central Europe. Endive escarole, or escarole, is available today in the U.S. and Israel, and is recommended by some authorities for those who cannot eat the other types of maror due to digestive ailments. A rabbinic authority should be consulted. Okay, most people, again, use the romaine lettuce. All of the species which one can fulfill the maror obligation may be combined with one another for the required amount of a gazayas, which is an allah's amount. He says between 0.6 and 1.1 fluid ounces. This is the minimal amount with which one may fulfill the maror obligation. See also chapter 119, we'll get there, and the chart of Pesach requirements based on Rabbi Moshe Feinstein's measurements at the end of that simon. Okay, we'll get there. It's not easy, you have to know exactly the amounts. One can fulfill his obligation with either the leaves or the stalks, but not with the roots. That is, not with the small roots that branch off to all sides, but as far as the large root, upon which the leaves grow, although it is submerged in the ground, it is considered part of the stalk, not the root, and is thus acceptable for maror. Nevertheless, it is better to use only the leaves and the portion of stalk that protrudes from the ground. For there are authorities who say that the portion of the large root that is in the ground is classified as a root, which may not be used for maror, and not as a stalk. One cannot fulfill the maror obligation with the leaves unless they are fresh, but one can fulfill his obligation with the stalks, whether they are fresh or dry, but not if they are cooked or soaked. All right, final footnotes here. The leaves lose their taste when they are dried out. The stalks, however, due to their thickness, retain their taste even after they have dried. And then he said, but not if they're cooked or soaked, for they lose their taste by cooking or soaking. And that's the Mishnah Berurah. Leaves of maror are considered soaked and may not be used when they have been kept in water for 24 hours. Some authorities say that the stems or stalks are considered soaked only if they're soaked in vinegar, not if they were kept in water for 24 hours. Okay, thanks for listening to the sponsor of Yetzer Hara, 36 for 100 of the gold. Have a great day.